Hi honnies, Howaya, Tanya and here, and of course welcome back to the channel. What's popping, what's well, and of course all that particular kind of good stuff over there. If this is your first time here, I'm Tanya and I do videos about makeup, glam, fashion, beauty, my medical career kind of vlogs, and of course a lot of interesting videos involving a little bit of reaction videos. But of course today in today's video, as you have seen from the thumbnail and of course the title of the video, I'm going to be talking about what you need to know before you join into any nursing school. So let us just dive into the video right now. Make sure that if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, you smack the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and of course like, comment, and of course share the video out to every other person, of course, who you know that he or she is starting out nursing school this year, or he or she started out nursing school last year. Usually the first point that I find very important for you to know before you join any nursing school or any nursing kind of profession in general, it is commitment. Commitment in general, it is I think something that defines more of a person and his or her kind of endorsement, and of course from endorsement, his or her own kind of love, and of course care of a particular kind of profession. I know it might be a little bit confusing, but I want to explain that. So the nursing profession, or in the medical field or the health kind of field in general, we need, and of course we preach commitment, because especially in nursing school there are times that you are going to find that you have a very morning kind of lecture, or you are going to be attended to by a tutor or your professor, whatever the case may be. And it does not only mean in the morning, but it might be late in the evening, early mornings, midday, an abstract kind of lesson, and of course all that. It requires only a committed kind of a person to know that he or she has to make it to a particular destination, and of course attend to a particular kind of class or a particular kind of lecture, because things are not always going to be at the same kind of pace that you need them to be, especially at this level where it is kind of adult learning, where people are not kind of perturbed or forced by the tutors or teachers, whatever the case may be, to stay in class. Not only even staying in class, but also studying online, receiving notes, and of course reading notes, attending to every particular kind of test, and of course discussing or discussion groups, consultation from different teachers, and of course all that. So it only requires a very committed kind of person, of course, to make sure that he or she, of course, enriches, not only enriching but also fulfilling a particular kind of task, which is of course going to be awaited on him or her. Of course, I know that you guys, I'm also student, I'm studying nursing, and of course I'm in my second semester of first year. But I know things tend to be a little bit busy, I know that, and there are moments in life where I feel like I'm very overweighted by a lot of things that I have to be accomplishing in a particular day. Not only in a particular day, but also my side businesses, meetings, abrupt meetings, and of course all that. I'm aware of that, but we have to literally be committed in any way to make sure that we fulfill what we are what is expected of us, such as of course what I've talked about recently, attending to tests, and of course doing examinations, attending discussion groups, and of course doing a particular kind of roadmap, how you are going to be able to attend to your own business, and of course at the same time be able, of course, to fulfill what is expected of you from your nursing school, from your nursing tutors, and of course your professors, and of course all that. And another way that I found very important to me, in order to cut on a little bit of stress that I had initially when I started in my first semester of nursing school, it was of course through cutting out different things that I hoped that they would not help me at this particular kind of moment of time. I was able to cut out, especially in my schedule, things that I thought that this can wait, but nursing school cannot wait, this semester cannot wait, I'm already against the semester, not against, but of course I'm already back at the semester. If you also know that responsibilities and of course abrupt kind of costs and of course our code of conduct, these are such important kind of aspects to nursing school. Of course, in general, there is a particular kind of code of conduct that you have to be following, all that is under commitment, a particular kind of dress code that you have to be following, all that is under commitment, because if you are not dedicated to accomplishing what you started, I don't think that only a particular code of manner may cut you out or may lead to your nursing school to dismiss you or expel you because you are behaving in a particular kind of manner that is not accepted in that particular kind of society. So I think all those go in the same bracket, whatever you want to call it. Code of conduct, dress code, and of course their abrupt costs. I know that because I'm also, as I've told you, I'm a nursing student, and of course I know that in nursing school it's all about adult learning, and there are things that your tutors or the administration of the school that are going to be telling you that they are going to be just abrupt costs. Yes, abrupt costs, especially here in Africa, Uganda, where I come from. Course, all that. So in general, summarizing up a little bit of commitment, it's that you guys, you have to be of course on board. You have to be ready of course to incur any kind of costs or additional costs that are going to be expected throughout the course. I'll give you an example. For example, this semester, I think at my school, though all this particular kind of stuff happened, the pandemic and of course all that, but within our circulars, they put a particular fee for which we are supposed to pay at school for community attachment. If you have not watched my video for cost units that you have to expect in nursing school, I'm gonna be leaving it up here. I talked about every other thing about PCH or community attachment or community replacement and of course all that, but we are told a particular fee that a lot of students of course never came to know about it. So reaching at school, this was the first thing that our principal talked to us about, the nursing placement fee, that they needed it in not less than 2 weeks, you guys, and it was all chaos and panic. So literally you have to be stable financially so that of course in case of any charges that are going to be charged, you are able of course to get out your coins and of course be able to fulfill everything or anything. Literally, I've also not talked about a particular kind of fee, not even fee, but an example that I can give you guys that it always gives me hard time to cope up with, especially with additional costs. It's about pamphlets for coursework. It drives me nuts, you guys. It always tries to scrap off my bum. And that's why one of these days I just love copying my notes. And I know a lot of you guys, this is not how it is in your countries. You always get notes from your iPads or computers or phones, but it's different in Africa. It's not a society where all of us can afford computers or laptops or books or iPads or whatever the case may be. So if you're not going to copy notes, you have to photocopy notes so that literally you have them at hand. And I'm always that one kind of a person, of course, who loves copying my notes directly, not even directly, but in a summarized kind of form into my book, and it has helped me a lot in order to cut off the charges and of course all that. You guys, of course, another important thing that I find very important, and I think this is one part of the course that a lot of people jump out, and that is the practical bit of it. I know a lot of you guys, especially when you have just joined into nursing school, I inclusive, but I think I was not that inclusive. I think I talked wrong English. And me inclusive, you guys, I think that's better English. But literally me inclusive, I thought at first that I never liked the practical bit of it, but especially when I started progressing towards the practical bit of it, I really came to be loving it very. So literally, I know a lot of you guys, this is the hardest part that literally you never expect, especially when you enter into nursing school. This is the practical bit of it, or the practical lectures, or the practical part of nursing school, and this especially come into foundations of nursing 1, and of course foundations of nursing 2, pediatrics, and of course obstetricians, if that English is right, and of course gynecology, and of course a lot of things. But you have to expect that the practical bit of it is there, and of course it's part of the most important bits of the healthcare kind of courses or units or schools, whatever the case may be. I don't care right now if it's pharmacy school, or it is lab school, or it is nursing school, or it is midwifery school, whatever the case may be. But as long as it's the health care kind of course, it's very important to know that we are dealing in practicals, because we are always dealing with patients. So first things come first, you have to always, and of course always, train your brain, and of course let it know that the practical bit of it is there, and it is not hard as such people always complain it about. I think I'll be making a video about practical and of course all that, but I've come up with a very simple kind of outline, kind of generalization of how I always do things, and I've seen it work for me. I have a simple abbreviation known as SAP. SAP is standing for study, A standing for analyze, and of course P standing for practice. In study, you are going to be sitting in a lecture with your tutor or with your professor, taking you a particular kind of procedure, especially in nursing foundations, taking you through a particular kind of procedure theoretically. Then in analyzation, where the person, you yourself, the nurse or the student nurse, to sit down, come to understand the procedure, understand it very well, the root cause, the effect, the benefits to the patient, to yourself, to the society, and of course all that, to come to know the particular kind of effects, the negative kind of bits of it, and of course to come to know the particular kind of conditions where it is done, and of course a lot of stuff. And of course in practice, you have to sit down, analyze it practically, do it a procedure practically, because these are things that we are always trying to jump our eyes off, but these are the very, very, very important kind of bits in nursing school. Right now I'm talking for the nursing school, I'm not talking for any particular kind of sector, I'm only talking for the nursing school. These are things that I've seen very important. Like you guys, I remember that last semester I was a helper in one of the lecture rooms, that not even the lecture room but the examination rooms, where my seniors, the extensors, were doing their paper. But you guys, I saw a lot of confusions, and a lot of them were confused. And just keep in mind that extension, these are nursing students who finished up with their certificates, and of course they are coming back to upgrade to a diploma. But you guys, it was war. So keep in mind that practical is there, and of course you are to do it, and of course it's very, 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 very important. Some examples, of course, I think I talked about them in my previous video about the course units to expect. I'm gonna be leaving it up here. I think I left it already up at the start of the clip, but we have hand washing, vulva swabbing, and of course bed laying. A lot of them. I don't know even why I've talked about vulva swabbing, but there are a lot of them. Hand washing, waste management, decontamination, a lot of them. But what you have to know and keep in mind is that practicals, they're there, they are real, and of course you have to practice, because that's the only way that you are going to be able to reach out to the patient, help the patient, and of course be of an importance to him. It brings me to my last bit of this particular kind of session, talking to you guys about things you have to know before joining nursing school. Yes, I'm going to repeat it the second time. Things that are important for you to know before you join nursing school. It brings me to ethics and standards. You guys, there is something known as ethics, and of course I think this is general to the policemen or to the security kind of guys. To us, the nurses or the health workers, a lot of professions have their ethics, but in general, ethics are guidelines that we follow in order to enrich our goal of providing health care to our patients, their relatives, and of course the community around. But you guys, as you come into the nursing school or the nursing health profession, you have to know that we are governed by ethics and standards. We have rules and regulations that we follow. We have different things that we find very, 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 very important when we are working with our patients, and of course that are important to the society, at the same time to the employers, of course, who are paying you, or of course who brought you to do a particular kind of work, and of course to yourself, because you know that whenever we have a particular guideline, even though it's in a home where you know that you guys immediately by one, lights have to be off. Yes, I have grown up in an African home where I have different ethics governing our home in order to keep up with the population in my home, and of course to keep every person, of course, comfortable with him or her own kind of space. And of course we have different guidelines, but these are different ethics that you guys are going to follow and usually with all that, it brings me of course to the end of the video. Make sure that if you have enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure that you tell me anything you think about what I've talked about in the video in the comment section below. Remember to rate the video, give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. It will really work for me. And of course also share out the video to every other person, of course, who you know that is starting out nursing school. I want to recap a little bit for you guys what I've talked about. I've talked about commitment, I've talked about the practical bit of it, I've talked about ethics and standards. Make sure that of course you sit down, analyze those 3 points before you join into your nursing school next week, next month, next year, tomorrow, whatever the case may be. And of course you'll be able of course to testify with me that if you cling onto these simple things I've told you, nursing school is going to be as it can. Let me meet you in my next video. Remember that smartness, elegancy, and of course exploring the magic of your subconscious mind. In 2020, Tanya and Shylock switching out. Bye for now.